Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's Saturday, Slashback Saturday. This is the segment created by my good buddy, Joe the Horror Man, where he picks a theme, and we watch a slasher movie based on that theme and do a review. This week's theme is unique settings, and this week I picked Miner's Massacre. Now, Miner's Massacre is a 2002 film which runs approximately 86 minutes and also goes by the title Curse of the 49er. Now, this is directed, and this should sound very familiar, by John Carl Buechler. Now, unfortunately, he passed away on March 18th, 2019, at the age of 66. He did mostly special effects. That's what he was pretty much known for. But he did direct Watchers 4, Cellar Dweller, Troll, and a little film called Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Which I would love to see the extra scenes in that one. So would a lot of other people. Now, this pretty much stars a bunch of no-name actors as the young people who are getting picked off one by one. I will get into a synopsis for this, but I wanted to kind of get into what the cameos are. This has a ton of cameos. You have Karen Black, who plays Aunt Nellie. Unfortunately, she passed away on August the 8th, 2013, at the age of 74. Now, she was in Trilogy of Terror, Ooga Booga, and Burnt Offerings. John Philip Law as Sheriff Murphy. He passed away on May the 13th, 2008, at the age of 70. He was in Barbarella, Hindsight, and Angel Eyes. And Richard Lynch as Old Man Pritchard. He passed away, a lot of people passed away in this one, on June 19th, 2012, at the age of 72. Now, he was in the remake of Halloween, Bad Dreams, which is a personal favorite of mine, and my favorite Puppet Master movie, Puppet Master 3. Spoiler alert, I'm sure most of you have already seen it, but he is actually the character that inspired Blade, the puppet. Now, this also has a few other named stars, one being Vernon Wells. Of course, he was in Mad Max and Weird Science, and he was also in Commando, which I love. Martin Kove, who played the bad guy on Bad Sensei on The Karate Kid. He also was in VFW just recently. And Jeff Conaway, who unfortunately also passed away, but he was Bobby Wheeler in Taxi and was in a little movie called Grease. Oh boy, Miner's Massacre. Now, I didn't really know much of what to expect. This movie and I have kind of an awkward history. Now, I bought a copy of Miner's Massacre from my local thrift store maybe a year ago. Turned out to be a screener. Now, I know my buddy Joe, the horror man, of course, likes screeners. So I put the movie on, started to watch it, turned it off in about 5 minutes because I didn't want to get too attached to the movie, because I wanted to send it to Joe because I know he really likes screeners. So that kind of left me without the film, and that was okay because I know how much Joe likes screeners, and I don't really particularly care for him too much. But about maybe 6 months later, when I was at the flea market that I normally go to and I buy most of my movies from, lo and behold, Miner's Massacre. And to be honest with you, I didn't really remember much of the 5 minutes. Go figure. But I had been dying to watch it and use it for something. So here's your basic synopsis. And I can't remember, with Joe's being a screener, if it was the same. I'm kind of dying to find out, so we'll have to figure that one out. But in the beginning, you have the story of a miner who is a real jerk, not a very nice person. And he's kind of got the whole MO like the the Leprechaun, where if you take any of his gold from his mine, that's basically the end of you. He's going to find you and kill you and take back his gold. Kind of the same MO. The reason why I picked this one is because it does have kind of an odd setting. As a matter of fact, it has two of them. One being a gold mine rather than a coal mine, and number two, in an old western town, like a ghost town, which I thought was pretty cool. The set design and everything on this movie is really good. So you have this miner who is brought back to life because a guy mines the old gold mine and finds a piece of gold, and he mails it to a friend of his to get him to come up there so they can, mine it and try to get all the gold out of it, which brings the miner back to life. So you have about, there's like three couples that come up there. And as the gold, as they find little pieces of gold, they get picked off one by one for taking the miner's gold. And that's basically your synopsis in a nutshell. There's not really much to this one. Now, what did I think about it? Now, I watched this right after I got the information for our Slashback. To be honest, I was exhausted. I hadn't really slept much, so I watched it and I didn't really think a lot of it because I was kind of dozing in and out of it. So I did what I normally do, and I waited till I was a little bit more awake on a different day, and I rewatched it. And I actually did like it. It is pretty much a typical paint by numbers slasher. But that's not always a bad thing. The reason why I was a little bit disappointed is because you got the late John Carl Buechler as a director, and you have all these named actors that play cameos in the film. Now, granted, I'm sure they did it for a paycheck, but, you kind of expect maybe a little bit more. This is basically your early 2000s typical slasher. That's pretty much forgettable, in my opinion. I liked it. I probably won't be watching it again anytime soon, but I'll watch it again someday. So, if that gives you any kind of indication as my feeling on the film. But definitely check out what Joe picked and what our theme is for next week. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time.